Liam MacRae. So Liam MacRae works out in California. Let's pull up some of his work. So I think the first thing I want to say about Liam is that he works heavily with Stüssy. Sean Stüssy started a surf and skate culture inspired streetwear brand. He's known, I actually saw a piece recently, he's known as being kind of one of the key godfathers of streetwear with the guy who, what's this guy's name? Nigo and Jebbia. Those Supreme and Bape, right? Supreme, Bape, Stüssy. Supposedly, those are the three. I'm a little bit young, I don't know the exact origins of all this stuff, but that sounds like that's how someone painted it. This is the three, that's kind of the three-headed snake, to quote Gunna. So anyway, Liam MacRae. So this was one of my first introductions to him. This is his photography series, a campaign he did with Stüssy. So it says, photographed by Liam MacRae, familiar patterns are found on the coast, the concrete, the garden, and with friends. So this is from fall 21 collection, so about 6 months ago. So this was my second favorite. This is Evan on the Road Again by Liam MacRae. This is pretty cool. How can I say this without sounding like a dick? Man, I wouldn't even say if I didn't have good taste. My kind of pretentious, cocky take was like, if I didn't have cooler taste in art, I would buy this from my place. This is cool. This is cool, don't get me wrong. I think inherently this reminds me of a little bit like, I don't think if you're buying art for your spot and it has names of brands embedded in the picture, I think we can do better, is kind of my point. Like, cooler than this, just buy some picture from your local artist, you know what I'm saying? But if you are gonna get some branded stuff, this is on the upper echelon of cool. In terms of you have the cool motif here, and the car is cool, and the surfboard's coming out, and the smoke coming out of the pipe. It is cool. It's verdant, and it looks pretty. Let's see. This is my favorite. This is my favorite by far. This is cool. Testing the waters at Casino Point by Liam MacRae. See, this is cool. If I was boys with the people who started Stüssy, or I was out there embedded with the whole kind of Brocky, Liam, Hank, A-side kind of whole team, I might be compelled to frame this and put it up in my spot, but I'm not, so I wouldn't. But Testing the Waters at Casino Point by Liam MacRae. This is cool. This is very cool. So anyway, that was my first introduction to him. Then we move on. So I did a bit of research, and we're eventually going to get to my ultimate point, which is that his new campaign with, let's just go there. We're in a vault day. His new campaign with Merrell is nuts. Is nuts. It's very, very compelling. Let's see if we can pull up. Let's see if we can. Yeah. We can get some of this here. Let's see. You know what? Actually, I want to start with something else. All right. You know what? No, we gotta take this in order. This is one of the other pieces I saw where he meets with Toro y Moi, which is he from California? He's some music producer. I don't really keep up with his music. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't keep up with it. He's got some decent stuff, right? If you're a fan. Toro y Moi. Okay. So he had this very cool little short doc he did. This is 7 years old. And this is with A New Breed. This is a documentary series presented by the Creator Class and Canon. So this is pretty well framed here. You've got Toro y Moi and this really nice beam of light, and then you've got this cool fern. Look at that fern. That's sweet. It's glistening. It's glowing in the sun. It's, you know, kind of a little bit of overexposure. It's really fried by the sunlight. That's really cool. And then you have the cool framing of the dog's ears. Really cool shapes and light here. And you see, you know, these shadows here on the right, this tree trunk, and then you have another patch of golden light. This is a really cool shot. So you just you have a bit of a picture of his eye, which is very, very sophisticated. So let's move on here. So I think Toro y Moi makes actually a pretty interesting point about skate culture.
I think I saw a couple of kids skating in my neighborhood, and then I went to like the Big Lots and bought like this $20 skateboard, and it would not roll when you pushed it. That was my first experience skateboarding. Like, the thing about skateboarding is that it's really down to earth. The dudes that skate are like they're like normal people, you know, they're not like in it to go pro or anything. It's just like you just do it because you're bored in your neighborhood and it's the weekend or something. With skateboarding, like there's no other sport out there that encourages, you know, videography, music, fashion, and like design. And like that's like the perfect sport for me. So I was all in.
So yeah, I found that pretty interesting. I know maybe you put two and two together, but I never really did, in terms of why skateboarding to this day still has this allure and it's got this cool factor, which is kind of hard to find elsewhere. You know, biking doesn't really have it. You know, even football or basketball, it's got this very niche kind of cultural significance, and I never really put that together, that because it's got this dress element. I think you see a bit of that in tennis more so than like American football or global football, soccer, or even more so than basketball. Golf, you can get a bit of flair with your personal dress, but tennis has a bit of that sort of, you know, the thighs out and the cool polos and stuff. Tennis has an elegance to it, which is intriguing. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. That kind of explicitly laid that out for me, that with skateboarding, that's why it's got this, part of the reason it's got this cool factor, because of the clothing. It's got this video marketing style embedded into the culture, which is pretty cool. I desperately, like you maybe, desperately wanted to be a skater. I would bike. I think I might have skated to middle school, which was very close. It was less than a mile away, less than like a kilometer and a half from my house in Atlanta. And I skated, and I was very shitty. And I think I tried to learn how to ollie for like 6 months, and I could never get it. And I was distraught. So I picked up biking. Biking was what you did if you weren't cool enough to skate. So all the guys, you know, we were getting into fixed gear bikes and all this, you know, dorky shit. Biking is cool. Biking is still cool, and it's got its own kind of culture to it. But I always wanted to be a skater, and I never could. So that's why I have depression today. But anyway, so that was one of the first campaigns I saw with by Liam, and let's keep it cooking. So this was another piece. What's interesting about this, I guess I'll link the guy he works with. He's got this distinguished taste in music that he uses in his campaigns, which is actually pretty interesting. So I would love to follow in this guy's footsteps. I've done some video campaigns for different brands. I've made one recently with El País, with the art director of El País in Madrid. So anyway, I do want to follow in this guy's footsteps, and I'm curious if he gets to basically, like, how does that work? Let's say, who's a brand that I want to work with? Maybe like a brand like Fuel Sec. Fuel Sec, c'est une marque française, et je me demande si je travaille avec Fuel Sec dans une marketing campagne. Campagne. Oui, campagne. Dans une campagne publicitaire, si je travaille avec Fuel Sec, je me demande si c'est moi qui ai la décision de choisir la musique de la campagne publicitaire. Ou si on doit travailler ensemble avec le chef, avec le staff. Mais avec Liam, it's interesting because he uses relatively strange music, I would say. It's not, I don't typically hear this kind of stuff in marketing campaigns, and I fuck with it. I think it's cool. So let's check out this one piece, which I think is very indicative of his style. Pretty cool if you ask me. I like that. I think it's weird and it's cool. I don't think you see a lot of campaigns like that because I think most marketing teams would be scared to put something out that's kind of as I don't know about avant-garde, but it's a bit funky. It's weird. This is a cool shot. Nice silhouettes here with the traffic. Traffic right along the beach. You gotta love the car culture of the States. Not to sound like a European prick, but I can't stand it. I love the bike centric, the pedestrian focused culture of the prioritization of the pedestrians, walking culture in Europe. It's part of the reason I would love to stay here if I can. That's pretty cool. The kind of how would you describe this? Neon, kind of wet neon green, black skin, wet neon. Does that sound poetic? The sort of slick. You know, a jewelry-clad black hand, wet slick with green neon. Maybe I'm kind of trying really hard to make this sound cool, but you see what I'm saying. This is a cool visual. It's actually a very cool visual. It's actually very cool. I like that a lot. And you got the Converse tapping on the ground. Anyway, lots of build-up. We are finally going to get to what I'm most intrigued by, which is his campaign with Merrell. So Merrell, if you are not familiar, is a purveyor of hiking apparel, hiking goods, hiking shoes. I actually bought a pair of, I have them here. I have a pair of Merrell hiking shoes. And it's actually pretty funny because I went on a road trip with some dear friends. Aw, cute. I went on a road trip with some dear friends to out west in the United States. We passed through South Dakota, Colorado, those kind of states. And the only pair of boots I had at the time was the pair of leprechaun green and burnt oak yellow Aimé Leon Timberland boots. And I legitimately considered wearing these boots to hike 4 miles a day. Can you imagine? Can you actually imagine if I had done that? My feet would have disintegrated. So luckily I splurged and I don't know if I even splurged. This, there are certain costs that you have to undertake to go on a sort of road trip. So I bought some hiking boots and I got some Merrell shoes. It was just generic brown Merrell shoes. And I'm pretty pumped up because it's quite exciting to see that this brand is investing heavily, or I don't know about investing heavily. They have people in place who are making good decisions and they're hiring really creative talent. And again, it's not just Liam. I'm sorry, there's other people involved and I'll tag them. You know what I'll do? I'm not going to give them verbal credit because I don't have time, but I will tag some of the people who are working on these campaigns in the description. That's what I'll do. So at least you can go check out their work. Anyway, Liam and his team have been doing some really, really eye-catching stuff. And me as a creative lad who likes these kind of campaigns, it means that Merrell has my attention. Merrell has my attention more than it did before. It's almost like marketing influences our perception of products. It's crazy. I'm pseudo-intellectualizing this entire concept, but no, but I think that is the case. I think it is interesting how, sometimes I kind of become a bit cynical and I'm like, I work in video marketing, or I want to get back into video marketing for different brands and businesses. And I get kind of cynical, like, it's so trivial. Who cares? What's the last marketing campaign I saw that really stuck with me? Which is kind of the case most of the time, but I think every now and then you do see campaigns which is like, damn, that was a strong creative vision. strong creative vision, and I like where that person's coming from, and I'm curious about how they see the world, and these kind of more profound topics than just buy these shoes or buy this sunglass. You know, I like how you're portraying the world. It's intriguing me. So this was a very, very, very cool campaign, and we're gonna keep looking at more of his work. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let me just make sure I show you all the other. It's a shame that they make it so difficult. I wish this guy had a proper website set up so I could quickly look through his work, but I'm sort of having to piece all these things together. I'll show you a couple other campaigns on from his Instagram. Good sound design on that clip. This is the money shot right here. This is the one I saw that inspired me to comment on this guy's work. How sweet is that? Short and sweet. It's a shame it's not longer. They've kind of chopped up all of his work to put into these little Instagrammable pieces, but that's tough. That's tough. I like that. I like that. Tough. I should probably elaborate. Tough is a good word to know. Tough is when you find something, it's actually interesting to think about how to explain tough to a non-native English speaker. Tough, that's tough. Tough is positive. Tough is a positive. It's slang. It's informal. Tough is a word you can use to positively describe your impression of something. This campaign, I think it's tough because it's a little bit dark. It's a little bit mysterious. It's a bit tough. That's tough. Tough is cool. Tough is cool. It's well made. It's cool. It's not trying to fit in. It's kind of doing its own thing. It's that's tough. That's tough. It's got a sort of aesthetic value as well. You've got the how sweet is that? How about this shot? Me and my mates out in the countryside, out in the national. How good are these colors? Out in the countryside, going on midnight little marauder missions. That's pretty sweet, isn't it? I like that a lot. I like that a lot. This one was also very impressive. Short and sweet, but very, very cool. How sweet is that? Very, very, very cool. You've got the sort of extraterrestrial beats and the whole kind of ambiance. Thing is that this kind of music and this kind of portrayal must be alienating for a part of the population who isn't with it, you know. But for me, it's cool. They're kind of it's provocative. I'm not used to it. I'm really not used to it. It's cool. It's got sort of a space what's it called? Space 2000 Space Odyssey kind of vibe. This is a great shot. This is a great shot here. This rope swinging in the air, and you got this great, you know, negative space with the silhouette and the wet pavement. Very sexy, very, very dark and cool. Very cool. That's how I would describe his work. It's cool. So I've been very impressed. I've been very, very impressed, and I wish this guy lots of luck. And it's interesting because now that I've got these Merrell shoes, I'm more eager to wear them around and kind of get off some kind of retro fits this summer. And if anyone, you know, kind of comes for me and they're kind of wondering what's up with the Merrell, or, you know, I can kind of push this narrative that, you know, you haven't seen the new campaigns. Merrell has their kind of finger on the pulse, and they've been putting out some cool work. So Merrell is putting out some of the best work in this space right now. And it's very, very cool, and it's worth checking out.